keep breathing. I need your voice just to keep on dreaming. I need your love to never go away.
Hello everybody, my name is Donna Swanson. I'm the Executive Director at Focus Alternative Learning Center in Canton, and you're watching our show Focus on Autism. And I'm with some of my good friends here. Lucas Hofstetter is our co-host.
Nice to meet you all. Thanks for joining us.
And today we're going to be talking about...
Today's topic is going to be one we haven't covered yet. We're going to be talking a little bit about our favorite and some of our less than favorite foods. Mm-hmm. This is a subject that comes up a lot. We often get parents asking us, what kinds of foods did you guys like? I can't get my kids to eat anything except junk food. And so we thought we'd offer a little bit of our perspective and maybe give you guys some ideas, hopefully something that'll be a little bit useful and maybe amusing too.
And as you know, a lot of the kids on the autism spectrum are very, very picky eaters. And we had some actual write-ins from two of our kids about the kind of foods that they like. And so I'm going to start with that. And our two fellas that were interviewed are Max and JR. And the first question that was asked of them was, what kind of foods do you like? And Max likes pizza, mac and cheese, steak, and that's about it. JR likes steak, eggs, pork, Mexican foods. He also likes sushi. He likes most things, and he's not that picky as long as it's on his special diet. And when they asked, how do you prepare these foods, Max said he helps with the pizza and the pancakes, and he puts the ingredients in for the pancakes and spreads the sauce for the pizza. JR said he loves to make omelets with cheese and scrambled eggs, and sometimes he likes to help make soup too and helps make pizza. And what kind of foods don't you like? Max said all vegetables. Surprise, huh? Apples, and he says that's because they are hard and too juicy. JR, he does not like spinach because it's slimy, and peppers and pickles. And when asked the question of why do you eat what you eat, Max says, just because I like it. And JR said, I'm allergic to several foods, so I have to eat a pretty special diet. They were asked the question, do you like crunchy foods? And Max said yes, he likes oat squares. And JR, he likes cereal, and he likes apples because it helps with his sensory when he needs that crunchy stuff. When asked about smells, because smells do bother a lot of kids on the spectrum, Max does not like the smell of celery, which I never heard before, and JR does not like the smell of onions. They were asked the question, do certain textures bother you? And Max does not have a problem with textures, but JR said slimy stuff like that squash and spinach. They were also asked the question, do you have any food allergies? Max doesn't, but JR has quite a few. He's allergic to gluten, dairy, most wheat. He's been allergic to dairy since he was a baby, and wheat and gluten since he was about 4 years old. And he can't eat any kind of sulfites because he gets an allergic reaction. He gets red bumps. So he has a special diet, and all the foods are really good. And both his mom and his two brothers are allergic too. And you do find that often in families on the autism spectrum. And I know for our kids at Focus, we have to be very, very careful about the kinds of foods that we offer them and how we offer them, and the smells. Certain smells really get them going, and they're very good about letting us know. And the ones who are on special diets really know what they can eat and what they can't eat, and that makes me very proud when they know that, right, Lucas?
Knowing one's own limits is perhaps one of the most important things one can learn, especially when it comes to food.
Yes. Well, I was going to kind of go down. We were going to start with Dan. And do you want me to ask you the questions, or do you want to just kind of free float here?
I think I'm better off with the direct questions, if you don't mind.
Okay. So I'm going to ask, what kind of foods do you like to eat, Dan?
I am not as picky with vegetables. I like green beans, corn especially, and for foods I like meats, steak, hot dogs, pizza.
So when you were younger, were you more fussy?
I think I was, yeah. I had a much more limited selection of foods, particularly foods that, like soups or stuff that were exactly solid.
Okay, so for you, it was texture, right?
Texture,
You didn't like the
Yeah.
soups and stuff that didn't feel right to you.
Yeah.
And how did you start to increase the different things that you eat?
As I got older, I tried starting to have different eating different things.
Yeah.
To try and try some things out.
Good. Do you ever help cook food?
No, because I'm a terrible cook. I can't I can't cook to save my life.
Yeah. And that's not an area that you want to try. You're not trying yet.
No.
Okay. What kind of foods don't you like?
I do not like potatoes because it's just too soft and mushy. And broccoli, I'm not a big broccoli person, but
Yeah.
I nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head.
But do you like French fries?
I do, on occasion.
On occasion. So, but
Yeah.
it's mostly the other kinds of potatoes, and that you don't like.
Yeah, it's mostly the baked potato or mashed potato that
Yeah.
I'm more picky towards, or onions. I don't like onions.
Don't like onions. All right. Why do you eat what you eat?
I enjoy what I eat, but I'm also careful as to how much of it I can have.
Yeah.
Like when I go out to eat, I'm careful not to order stuff with too many calories.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not on any kind of diet, I still like to keep an eye on weight and stuff.
And how did you learn that? How did you become aware of that as something to keep track of?
Just as I got older, I was able to understand the charts better that explain what's in foods and stuff better.
So you've really paid attention
Yeah, I try to.
taking care of yourself. Do you like crunchy foods?
I do, yeah.
Like what?
I'll eat potato chips on occasion. I'll eat, I can't really think of a lot of crunchy foods.
Like
Pretzels
I'll eat crackers on occasion. And some other crunchy foods I prefer crunchy.
popcorn?
Those- a little bit, not too much.
Not too much. Okay. Any smells bother you?
I don't like the smell of like hand sanitizer or some other smells.
Any food smells that bother you?
I'm not a big fan of the smell of onions.
'Kay, onions is a definite theme here for you, huh?
No.
And do certain textures bother you? Like you said, the potato, anything like mushy.
Anything mushy, yeah. But apart from that, nothing that I know of yet.
Can you eat casseroles?
No, not really.
Because some of our kids do not like casseroles because they like their food to be separate, not all mixed together.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah.
But I don't want that in the same plate as long as it's separate.
Yep. So that's very much. And do you have any food allergies?
None that I'm yet aware of.
Okay. Very good. You did a great job. What about desserts? Do you like desserts?
I like eating brownies now and then.
Brownies now and then.
But I'm not much into sweet things like cakes or candies. I don't eat a lot of that.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that you eat vegetables because that's something that we have a really hard time getting kids to eat. I'm going to go to Emily now, unless you have something else you'd like to add at this time.
No, thanks.
You did a great job, Dan.
Thanks.
Miss Emily, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Now, you are a little fussy eater, right?
Yeah.
And always have been.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've known you for quite a while, and actually, you're less fussy now than you ever were, and that makes me very happy. But what kind of foods do you like?
Well, I basically like more simple things like pasta and pizza, and I'm not. And unfortunately, I like I like carbs too much, and I'm not really into meats or fruits and vegetables unless it's certain kinds like burgers and like and mixed fruits, and it always has to be prepared a certain way for me to like it, because I usually don't like green beans, but if it's cooked a special way with a special type of seasoning, I like it. So it really all depends, but.
And your mom has some good recipes that you like that tuna casserole, right? Don't you like the tuna casserole?
Yes, I do.
And that actually, doesn't it have vegetables in it?
Yes, it does. I mean, I don't hate vegetables. I just usually don't like them by themselves usually. And usually with the ones like carrots and I like things like carrots and broccoli raw. I prefer them raw.
Yep. And Caesar salad. I happen to know that you're a big fan of Caesar salad.
Yes.
And clam chowder.
Yes.
So those are there's always something good that you can eat. And you do have a bit of a sweet tooth.
A bit, not as much as I used to. I'm not much. It's definitely not candy, but with stuff like little cakes and stuff, I will have.
Mm-hmm. Do you help cook food at home?
No, not really. I have a lot of sensory issues of smell with cooking food. I have cooked food before, but it's really hard for me to do so. And since my since my horizon of food is so limited to begin with, I don't want it to ruin it even more by
your cooking.
By not so much my cooking, but the smell of everything.
Yep. That makes sense, Emily. What kind of foods don't you like?
A lot of the more complicated types of foods. Like I said, I prefer anything simple. Everything's simple. I mean, I like different kinds of foods from different countries and stuff. Some different countries, like. But usually just their most simple dishes. Anything complicated, I'm not too fond of.
Do you like crunchy foods?
To a point. I mean, I like some potato chips and such, but if it's too hard, then I prefer not to eat them. Mm-hmm.
And smells. You talked a little bit about smells. What are the smells that really kind of get to you?
Oh, it's so many. It's like it's almost everything I cook. I practically should get a nose plug if I have to cook. I mean, I was kind of preparing some food on Monday at work, and I had to either deal with chopping tomatoes or the canned meat that's like canned tuna, and it really stunk.
It bothered you.
It bothered me. It bothered me so much. I just couldn't. If I wasn't the one having to do it, I wouldn't be in the same room. And then when I got on my hands, it was horrible. I had a horrible sense of I went in the bathroom right away, and it was like washed the sin off my hands.
So it felt like a sin. Did work understand?
Yeah, they keep forgetting that I don't like that kind of stuff, but it's like but then it's hard to ask me to help them with anything to cook. I mean, I can do stuff, like I said, simple stuff. Like I can help cook rice and stuff like that, mm-hmm. White rice or something. But
so smells are a real issue for you.
Yes, it really gets in the way of my being able to cook and what I would eat.
And do any textures bother you?
Yeah, I would say slimy textures also bother me as well as well, yeah, that's a main one.
Yep.
And are others, and anything kind of coarse also, kind of too hard, I guess. Crunchy is okay, but if it's hard,
Yep.
I don't really like it.
And we have a couple kids that have problems with hard too. It hurts their jaws and it bothers them.
Even if it's something that's supposed to be delicious, like a cookie, if it's too hard, then I don't eat it.
Okay. You guys have both given some really good information for parents, and it's hard, and especially in the workplace where you're getting paid to do things, and it's something that really, really bothers you. And you know, but I'm proud that you try, and then you wipe the sins right off you. I'm going to go to Lucas next. Do you need to be the questions, or do you?
Might help keep things structured.
You like structure?
In this case.
All right, and Alex, we're going to be going to you last, so you know you're going to be doing your reading. Alex got up this morning at 9:30 and came up with his list, so but he wanted to go last. So, all right, Lucas, what about you? What kind of foods do you like?
Well, I tend to be pretty adventurous with what I like to eat. That wasn't always the case. When I was much younger, I was a pretty picky eater too. Didn't tolerate certain textures, certain smells. To the point where if I opened a package of fruit snacks and there were any fruit snacks in the package that were misshapen in any way, I wouldn't eat those. I don't know, slimy food, like food that's incredibly slimy. Because, I mean, I don't know, I'm not going to advocate necessarily sliminess as a positive quality of food or anything, but I will eat things like nori, which is seaweed, that can get maybe a little bit on the slimy side, but I wouldn't.
Eel.
Yeah, eel is about as far as I'd go. Stuff like jellyfish, which is full of preservatives anyway, I wouldn't touch. But I'm a big fan of ethnic cuisine. I like especially Japanese food, Thai food, other kinds of Asian food. I like, oh boy, what else? I don't know, I like to try new things. I'll try anything at least once.
I would say that you are one of the more adventuresome, eclectic people that I know in terms of food.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment. It absolutely is. And that you also like to prepare foods.
I do. I enjoy cooking. I didn't always. I used to be very afraid to even get near the kitchen. And then I took a culinary arts course in 12th grade in high school where I had a wonderful teacher who had owned and operated, I guess, from what I understood, a series of restaurants in his professional career. I don't know what possessed him to get into teaching high school, but he was a wonderful teacher. I got a lot of great skills in that class, and that was what really familiarized me and made me feel comfortable in the kitchen. And then after that, I've been fighting with my dad over use of the stove ever since.
You are a painfully slow cooker, though.
It depends what I'm making. Often I like to make things that maybe take a little bit more preparative time. I do sometimes make things that are quick, but I often find that the recipes that I plan take longer than I expect.
But I do think that you do put a lot of love in, like when he makes the most incredible fruit salad alive, and it's beautiful and it takes, everybody appreciates it. So he puts a lot of different kinds of fruit in it and gets guys to eat things that they wouldn't normally eat.
I find the quality of what I make is much better when I'm cooking for someone besides myself, because perhaps it's just a human quality, but I'm not often motivated to put a lot of effort into things that are for just me, because I'm happy with stuff that's simple as long as the ingredients are good. But when I'm feeding someone else, then I take my cooking very seriously.
What food don't you like?
I don't like food...
Andy's smiling because he likes everything. Yeah.
I don't like food that is cheap or has artificial ingredients. I tend to think... Emily mentioned that the canned chicken, that seems almost oxymoronic to me. That's just why would you put that in your mouth? But I don't like, I don't know, cheap restaurants, fast food. I don't want to single out Chinese buffets, but I'm going to single out Chinese buffets. One of my less favorite kinds of places.
And Andy's smiling because he loves the
I feel
word
like
buffet.
A friend of mine and one of my original mentors in the Focus program made the mistake of introducing me to sushi, and then my taste became progressively more expensive from there.
Yep. Let's see. Do you like crunchy foods?
It's all one to me, really. Crunchy, chewy, salty, sweet. Crunchy foods are good. Every now and then when I'm like in a kind of grumpy mood, I'll come home and be like, I want something I can crunch on. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't do
That
that
works.
awfully much, but yeah.
And any smells bother you?
Synthetic smells. Again, when I'm around food that has a lot of artificial ingredients, it's like I can almost tell. You can just sort of smell the. It's hard to describe, but it smells cheap. Food that's overly complicated, and I mean way complicated. There's a point where a dish can have more than one ingredient that adds to it, but I tend to think of certain family members of mine who shall remain nameless that have a habit of just taking anything that's in the refrigerator, dumping it in a pot, and making dinner out of that. I don't hold with that theology in cooking.
There was a lady that I heard on TV one time, and she became a cook because her mother used to use anything, and at one point she put an apple pie in the stew.
I heard that story, yes.
And that was it for her. That was the final straw. She became, and she's a very famous cook now. Textures?
I'm pretty flexible. I think the only texture that I really have a hard time tolerating is... I'm going to borrow a term from one of my favorite video games here. Anything that falls under the category of mystery food X. I'm going to just put my foot down there. If it's something that has both chewy textures and stuff that's so hard you can't bite into it, and just...
You're skeptical.
I tend to be skeptical of stuff that whose edibility comes into question after the first bite, yeah.
And do you have any food allergies?
Unless you count penicillin as a food, no.
Well, it comes from mold, so...
Well, granted, there's probably penicillin growing on some of this stuff in my refrigerator at this point, but...
Well, we won't go there.
Yeah, let's not.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
Just, I don't know, I would encourage people to try and be adventurous, barring Mystery Food X.
And pay attention, really be paying attention to what kids have to say about foods, because it's real.
Yeah, if your kid picks up his plate of spaghetti and throws it over his shoulder, chances are it's not just out of spite. There's usually a reason for it of some sort.
Usually.
Huh?
Usually.
Well, I'm not going to make a blanket statement. You know, there may not always be, but often there is.
Well, and next we're going to go to Andy, whose nickname is...
Sir Eats a Lot because I love to eat.
Sir Eats a Lot because he loves to eat. And Andy is unique in that eating has never been a problem for you.
Right.
From a baby on, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of jokes that go around Focus because Andy, we try to have to, tie down the food sometimes and say that's it, right?
Lock the fridge.
Right.
But you love food.
Yeah.
And you love to eat.
Yes.
And you're actually motivated because we're going out to lunch afterwards.
McDonald's,
so, yep. So, what kind of food do you like, Andy?
Pizza is my favorite kind of food.
Pizza?
Yeah.
What else?
Well, macaroni and cheese, Boston Market type, kind of meat and stuff like that.
So you pretty much can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, the big question for you is, do you ever prepare any food?
Sometimes, but it's kind of funny because a lot of times I'll have dinner already made for me when I come home from work.
Yeah.
So I'll just put it in the microwave. But my
that
parents
must be nice.
Yeah. My mom and dad my mom and dad do the majority of the cooking in my family. So.
Maybe we'll go back to the days where you were supposed to prepare a meal once or twice a week.
That was kind of funny because Donna had that idea.
Yeah.
But my mom and dad thought it was a pretty good idea too. But I just
Andy didn't think so.
I kind of lost interest in it.
But you made your little passive aggressiveness
Yeah, I guess.
came in and made it impossible.
Yeah.
Correct? What if we did that again?
I don't know. I mean, it would probably do the same result.
There's always microwave dinners.
Yeah, no, I could just go to the store and get some Hungry Man stuff. So.
Dude, you know how much sodium is in this?
A lot.
What kind of food don't you like, Andy? Is there a food
There
you
isn't
don't
any
like?
kind of food at all that I don't like. So.
Oh, well, that makes it easy.
Yeah.
And you like to eat. You eat because you.
It feels good, but also it is a sensory thing. I guess I've learned over the years that that's partly why I like to eat a lot, because it makes me feel like I'm involved in something, and it keeps my interest up. So.
And he doesn't gain an ounce.
I know.
Which is so. And do you like crunchy foods?
Yeah, I do.
And does any textures bother you?
Nope.
No. Any smells bother you?
Just onions. I would have to agree with Dan on that one. Like I like onions to an extent, but like the smell kind of it doesn't really bother me that much. But if I had to choose one thing, that would be it. So.
It would be the onion factor.
Yeah.
Try them sauteed. They're much better.
No one likes onions.
Nobody likes onions?
No one here.
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, I like them to eat, like, and a little bit to smell, but not like a lot to smell. So.
Yeah. And you don't have any allergies to food, do you?
No.
At least none that I've ever.
Right.
None that I've encountered. Alex, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, and Alex is gonna read what he wrote this morning, and he's going to do it in his best voice and try and be a little slow. Go for it, kiddo.
Yeah.
Picky Eaters by Alex Cable. When I was little, I was a very picky eater. There was a huge variety of food I didn't like. I usually couldn't stand the taste or smell of the foods. Mostly it was the smell. I used to run upstairs and hide under my bed when my mom was cooking, so my mom would do all of the cooking when I was at school. I really don't like to talk about those days. Now that I'm on the panel, I've tried many new foods. I'm not as picky an eater as I used to be. Eat many kinds of meat now. I actually like poultry and fish better than red meat. Poultry and fish are way healthier than red meat. First favorite is chicken slugs and fries at McDonald's. Other favorite foods of mine include popcorn, chicken, and mozzarella sticks, onion rings, and Caesar salad. When I got on the panel, my taste buds changed. Your taste changed when you get older. That's what I always say. You also learn more about your body and what foods are good for your body. You should always go easy on junk food and fast food. Even if they're your favorites, you shouldn't eat too much of them. That is all about picky eaters.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You did a great job, and guys, I hope that parents and other people will understand about the food, and I think we did a great job here today, letting people know about our peculiarities. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned and join us again. Adios.